with the sewage leak. Of course, and I understand their point, they say that, the problem with their system, it gets overloaded during big rain events because the stormwater gets pushed into their wastewater, and then it costs the citizens of James Island who live in the PSD to have to treat stormwater like they would wastewater. It's a lot more expensive process. And then not only that, it overwhelms their system, and that's when you have the leak. And so I also spoke with Waterkeeper this week, and actually I spoke with him this morning, and he told me, and I can't remember his percentage, but it was more than 60%, 60-something% of the time that he tests in that area, it's failing. So the gentleman with the ear infection would not be able to get in his creek, but maybe 30-something% of the time. So it's definitely a bad area that we need to look at. They have asked me for funding for several things. One of them is some type of, it's an inexpensive cover, but it's a manhole. It's a U-shape. I don't know if it goes this way or that way, but it prevents stormwater from getting into the wastewater system, which is good and bad because we don't want it. Definitely don't want sewage leak, and we don't want the capacity overloaded. But then the stormwater's got to go somewhere, and that's going to be Zeke's problem. Because it's going to be, hitting the...
It's going to increase the volume of stormwater.
Correct, yes.
Well, can't you write legislation, and I know you're all about home rule, but can't we write some type of legislation since Trump is trying to take away our clean water? Because you told me to go to Cunningham when we communicated about a week ago and ask them to enforce the Clean Water Act. You remember that?
I told you that they would be the ones that could do
And now
that.
Trump may have rolled that back. So the onus is going to be on the state.
Trump can't do anything by himself. I mean, this is going to be a process, just like I can't do anything by myself.
So can you, because this new thing that the PSD is going to do to help us, can the state not write legislation that would empower the PSD or whoever it needs to be? I don't know how it needs to happen. But can't you write legislation to allow these folks to have higher standards? Because we're not paying third world taxes like the